श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। जन्माद्यस्य यतोन्मयादितरतस्य अर्थेष्वभिघ्नस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्मरुधाय आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति यं सूरयः। तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि. So we are on the day 60th of discussing about Bhagavata Purana, Dashama Skanda. In the previous day, we saw that the story of Raga. Raga was one of the demigods who happened to take birth as a lizard, a big lizard, because of some committing mistakes that we saw. So then at the end, Krishna touched his hand to pull him out of that well. Then because of touching of Krishna's hand, he came back to in the form of demigod, and he told about his story, saying that by mistake he has used Brahmin's property, and he gave it to as a donation to somebody else. So by mistake also you should not hurt the good people like Brahmins is the story behind entire Draga story. Those who has done will become the lizard. So I was wondering, the lizard on the wall, they always make a sound like sorry kind of thing, right? Maybe that may be the reason they came up with the story. So any case, Krishna gave advice to his younger generation, saying that do not do such mistakes, even though without knowing also you do that, you have to correct it. Good people should not be hurt, otherwise it is karma will catch up and destroy even if it is a demigod also, he has to take birth as a lizard and live in a well for thousands of years. That is just delaying the process of their moksha sadhana. So spiritual person, any person in the spiritual path should be very, very much careful that not to misuse or not to hurt the good people, Brahmins. In this case, they call it as Brahmins. As I mentioned in the past, Brahmins is not by the birth, Brahmins is by the actions. That's the meaning of Brahmin here, the Brahmadjnani, who is in the path of spiritual path, something like that. So if we take in that sense, it makes real sense that in the even the social setup also, we should not be hurting the good people who are doing great to the society, kind of thing. So that is the gist of that story in the last session. So now coming back to the next stories that Bhagavata Purana talks about in Dashama Skanda is about Balarama visiting Brindavan. It is very interesting that Balarama one day was sitting in Dwaraka, thinking about his friends and childhood and all those things. It was a good time, maybe free time he had. Suddenly he decides, I should go to Gokul, and just to see his relatives, and even his parents are there. And then he went there alone. This time Krishna was busy in other activities. We saw in the previous sessions, he was visiting a couple of places. He went to Narakasura. So independently, Krishna and Balarama were separated sometime, doing some other activities. So here Balarama decided to go to Nanda Gokul, and he went there just to see the way we do in our regular life. Suddenly we feel to, of course we should find the time to do that. Of course, now I see people not visiting their relatives and friends years together. and even not connected. Very interestingly, the technology is very much in our hand. Everything is there, but though virtually we are all connected, but mentally we are not connected. We don't call our relatives, we don't talk to them. We are very busy sending the status on the Facebook, status on the WhatsApp, only me kind of things. I have seen so many WhatsApp groups. Everybody says good morning to all, good morning to all, I and good evening to all those things they do. Surprisingly, they don't talk to the very close family members, people, and any good occasions. We really forget. We don't take special time out of our life, and we don't value that. So somehow, when I was reading this story, this part of the story, when Balarama decided to go to Nandagokal to meet his relatives and friends, and he was thinking about his childhood, the time well spent. So it did not take him years or months of planning things. He decided, okay, let me go. He went. So that should be our way of living. And but modern style, if I see what we are doing, of course I'm talking about majority of the people, not all. Majority of the people are busy. I don't know where we are running. It's like a running on a treadmill, not reaching anywhere but sweating, right? That is the kind of thing we are doing. So we are missing the boat. Like, though we are well connected, the technology is there, but we are not. See, I heard somebody saying, in the modern world, everybody is well connected, but they are alone. They are empty inside. This is the kind of psychological situations happening all over the world. Anyways, coming back to the Bhagavata Puran, what Balrama did. So Balrama went, and he went to his Nandagokula, maybe native place we can call. He went to each of his friends, reached out to them, then talked to them, sat with them, had a discussion. He met his parents. Everybody was so happy. How down to earth these kids are. The Krishna is also, we hear he left since so many years, maybe decades, but so down to earth personalities. So they were gathered in front of him. They also give good time for them. So it happens. This other way around also possibility is that you go to your native place, no one shows interest because everybody is in front of a TV. They don't even offer tea, right? That is the kind of world we are living in now. But it did not happen in case of Balram. When he visited, everybody had the time. They came with him. They had a very good time with Balaram. Uh, After meeting all the family members and other things, Balram, and he was inquiring about everybody, neighbors and others. Then, in short while, the Gopika Stris, who were a favorite of Krishna, they were having a pastime in the past. Now they are all adult women. They came running to see Balrama is there. Krishna's brother has come. The first question they were asking, any spiritual guy who is waiting for Bhagwan's Nana, right? Uh, they do the same thing, right? Where is Bhagwan, right? Where is Krishna? Does Krishna still remember us? Does he, at least Krishna remember his parents? Will he be coming any time to Gokul visiting us? And they complain to Balram. It's very interesting. This they did with this with Uddhava also. If you remember, we talked about Uddhava, Krishna sending Uddhava to Gokul, making sure everybody, whoever is longing for them, for him, are met. By Uddhava is almost they considered Uddhava as like Krishna, the messenger, right? So the same thing is happening here. Everybody is after Balram asking his question, and Balram was part of Krishna's activities in the childhood. So now they are asking, for Krishna's sake, we gave up our everything. Though our parents were not happy, we came out, played with you guys, and my mother and relatives, all time we did not spend there. We were longing for you, Krishna. But where is he? Why is he not coming? Has he abandoned us? This is the type of doubts any spiritual person in the spiritual path at certain time will get it. We do all the things in the spiritual path. We do lot of things. Suddenly one thing goes wrong. The first thing question is really Bhagavan exist? I always think Naham Karta, Harir Karta. Really, is he doing something, or is on vacation? We get this doubt. Same doubt Gopika Stris are expressing. We gave out all our, are we wasting time, kind of thing, right? So Gopika Stris also got the same doubt, and they are asking Balaram. Of course, as Uddhav expressed, saying that he is always with you, he has never left. So they same kind of answer, whatever is given in this Bhagavata Puran, this chapter, same kind of answer we should get, thinking that no, he has not left. There may be a period of testing happening, something is going totally wrong in our life, but that has a lesson, that has a it is talking about the next steps in the spiritual path. So now, connecting back to the story, other than the analysis part, so coming to what all this Gopika Stris are asking, and they are asking, how could we help put our faith back into Krishna? How can that means coming back to the following his path? But Balaram was all along, he was smiling, and he was overwhelmed by the love of Gopika Stris uh, for Krishna. So I always considered, whenever they say Gopika Stri, it is not a, if you take the analogy, you when a Gopika Stri, in case of the spiritual people following the spiritual path, it is any person longing for greatness of Bhagavan is a Gopika Stri. It doesn't have to be woman, right? Even the bhaktas, actually Gopika Stris are bhaktas, right? So they got this doubt, and he was smiling at them. And the question is, can Krishna spend separation from us, time in separation from us? Why is he doing this? All those things. And then one of the Gopika Stris, I think so, there is no meaning of asking this question too, because we did the same thing with Uddhav, and he said the same, he did not do anything. So now Balaram is here, what else? So they were remembering Krishna and his charming talks and all those things. And Balarama, and they cried in front of Krishna, in front of Balarama. But Balarama consoled them. He said, no, Krishna has never forgotten. That is the main reason I am here, to remind you of Krishna. Krishna is always with you. Only thing is, you are not coming out of the attachment. The relationship between you and Krishna should be at a higher level than seeing him physically. His existence is always there. So he explained it. Then Balarama stayed in Gokula for almost 2 months, spending time with them, talking to them about Krishna's activities, how busy is Krishna, because Krishna is all over the places in Bharat, so helping and fighting things, right? So they talk about, in the Bhagavad Puran, they say Balarama spent 2 months, and he played as if he was a young boy, and he was spending time with them, with Gopikas, Stris and relatives, and talking to them. They say there is an interesting story. I don't somehow relate why this kind of story comes in the Bhagavad Puran. There must be meaning, or there must be some like in Hindi movies they bring some jokers to have fun in between, right? When the movie is going seriously, author brings some funny parts. So like that here happens that one day Balarama is intoxicated with madhu with the spirit. It's called Varuni liquor, and because of that, he is ordering. He goes with Gopikastri to the bank side of Yamuna, and he starts ordering Yamuna to come near me. I don't really understand. Of course, this is a person under the influence, maybe talking those things, asking that Yamuna river to come near to me. We want to play in water with Gopikastri. Of course, Yamuna river does not hear. She doesn't respect. And they say Balarama got very angry. He took his plow. I'm just communicating the story that is mentioned in the Bhagavata Puran. That's where I felt it little strange. That anyway, to complete the course, he pulls out his plow. Plow is his weapon, and he puts in the center of the river and he starts pulling. That means he tearing off, splitting tributes, tributaries from the Yamuna river. So that's how they say Yamuna river at some portion has become separated, 2 or 3 branches coming out, and that is because of Balram. See, this is the funny story that we can tell to our kids, saying that why the rivers get separated. For small children, you cannot tell the scientific reason for that. You can say this story. That is interesting. Go back and relate to the Bhagavad Puran, saying that hey, in the Bhagavad Puran it says Balrama did this. So maybe that is the reason he put this story there. So that's what I understand. But as soon as Balarama starts separating her out into several tributaries, Yamuna shows up. What is going on? Why do you do this? Then he says, why can't you come? Then she comes and requests Balarama, sorry for that. I should have heard about your request. I should have come to you. Of course, he came there and everybody enjoyed taking bath in Yamuna, and Balarama blessed her. And he gave goddess some offerings, ornaments, clothing, all those things. They say then till today the Yamuna river flows through the many channels because of this action of Balaram. This is one small story, a branch part of the chapter. Then Shukamuni talks about how a false impersonation can be done by the people. That is the story of Paundraka Vasudeva. Paundraka Vasudeva, he is friend of Kashi Raja, and this guy is also a king in nearby. There are so many small countries in Samant Rajas, right? In Bharat at that time, maybe they call maybe 600 out, around 600 small Rajas. So this is one guy who thought himself as Krishna. He says, his name is Vasudev, and he thought he himself is a Vasudev. I am also Vasudev, kind of thing. Like in today world, we see this Lalu Prasad as a son, right? He also impersonates as Krishna, Shiva. You must have seen in TV. Very interesting personalities. So this guy is one of them. So he was thinking he is a Krishna, and he started saying everybody. And Kashiraj was being his friend. He supported. Maybe he wanted to enjoy the foolishness of this guy. He said, "Yeah. You are like Krishna. You should have you should ask Krishna to leave his name, because it is your name, right? Kind of thing. He may be forcing him to do, or maybe making fun out of this guy, but this guy became serious. That means he became mad, right? Then he sends a message to the Yadavas, right? Yadava in Dwaraka, saying that, hey, Krishna, you should give out your Sudarshana Chakra, Gada, Padmas, and don't dress up like me. I am the real Vasudeva. You are the false Vasudeva. This is the madness of a person, how one can go. But it happens like Chaukidar Chor hai, right? Very interesting. If I'm talking about Rahul Gandhi and his mother, though they are on bail because of the corruption, they are talking to a person who we assume to be clean as the chore hai. And he talks about if he brings out the message, the entire earthquake will happen. All those things, if you are in current, if you are understanding, following the current political situation in Bharat, the same kind of behaviors we can see, talking about negative about a person who is not at all doesn't seem to have a regards of being a negative person, and doing all good. He, though I'm talking about Modi current situation, he is world famous because of his corrupt free nature and greatness and the valor he's showing, and the speed he is taking India in the world map. Still, there are such people who come up with very strange, crazy ideas. And if you listen to those things, and again after read the Bhagavad Puran, you see that okay, it must have happened, because Paundraka Vasudeva is doing the same thing like the common people here, like this. So same thing, coming back to the Bhagavad Puran, the reason I relate to this current situation and the things that are happening, just to make it interesting, that Bhagavad Puran is not isolated, it is happening every day in our life. So that was the main purpose. I take these examples, uh, and most of the times I talk about Modi ji at the higher level. That is personal opinion. If some of you do not like, don't worry about it. Just for example, we have taken this. Coming back to Bhagavata Puran story, this Paundraka Vasudev sends a messenger to Ugrasena, and he says, I am the alone Vasudeva. You should give up the false claim to Krishna, he is saying, and to Ugrasena, the king of Dwarka, and claim and positions, as well as my divine symbols deliver back to me, and take shelter of me. I will protect you. And Ugrasena and his team members laugh at it in the royal assembly. And they say, what to do with this guy? Should we let him go like this? Foolish. Then they ask Krishna, what should we do? He says, oh, do not neglect. These people are dangerous. They are these a spark neglected, right? If you neglect a spark, think that okay, it's a small spark that may burn the house. So, if it is a spark, go and answer him. And he sends a messenger to Paundraka Vasudeva to convey that, hey fool, do not do these things. It is not, you should, of course, you are acting like this in your local place, it's okay. But if you're making it a national level and making it a big claim to the king of Dwarka, saying that either come with fight with me, or give out your symbols and name and other things, that means you are calling for the your days, end of your days. So if you want Sudarshana Chakra, you can come and take it. So this story is very interesting. The Sudarshana Chakra was requested by so many people. This was a powerful weapon that Krishna had. Even they say, what is his name? Dronacharya's son, he also asked Krishna to give me your Sudarshana Chakra. I will give you Brahmastra. That is a kind of, it comes in Mahabharata, Ashwathama, right? Ashwathama story. It comes that he demanded Krishna to give his Sudarshana, and he will bless him with these kind of people, lunatic people exist. So he did that. So similarly, Paundraka Vasudeva is doing this, and Krishna sent a message, otherwise you will die. Krishna says, don't stop doing such nonsense, otherwise you are going to die. With the same Sudarshana Chakra, I will cut you and feed you to your dogs, kind of thing. And that madness did not stop there. Kashi Raja was supporting this boy, this Paundraka Vasudeva, and they prepared to fight. They were preparing for the battle with Yadavas. So Krishna said, okay, let us not put the people in the jeopardy, because when the king's two elephants fight, right, however big or small they are, the grass below them is the sufferers, and the ants below them are the sufferers, right? So he says, okay, let me go. Krishna himself goes to Kashi, and he is requesting Kashiraj to avoid this battle. But Kashiraj, being his friend of Paundraka Vasudeva, he says, nothing doing. Then Krishna uses his Sudarshana Chakra. He beheads both Kashiraja and the Paundraka Vasudeva in one shot and kills them. But when he meets them in the field for the fight, he looks at Paundraka Vasudeva dressed up like Krishna, as if he was looking like, and that means Krishna feels that this guy believed in my power, this guy is dressing up like me. That means he has a smallest faith that he wanted to be like me. They say that soul of Paundraka Vasudeva got blessed because he was believed in Krishna, and he dressed like Krishna. So they say in Bhagavad Puran, even for that also Bhagavan gave him the blessings, even though he killed. The way he did Ramayana also, they talk about Ravana is going to the heaven, moksha, because of the belief of Ravana in his strength of Rama. Similarly, this guy also gets liberated after so many years. That moksha sadhana, Jivis, when they take a enemy role, like Jaya Vijaya story we saw, they came to the earth, they acted as the enemies of Bhagavan Vishnu in the form of Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyaksha, and Jarasandha, Dantavakra, all those things, right? The three births they took, they were enemies, they were killed by Bhagavan at that time, but still they got moksha. So moksha sadhana is possible, even if you hate but it has to be so intense. That's where I remember this poem again. Maybe I'm repeating, but it is worth a poem from D.V. Gundappa in Kannada. It says, Nambadirdanu tande nambidanu prahalada nambiyum nambadiru vibbandi neenu ಕಂಬದಿನೋ ಬಿಂಬದಿನೋ ಮೋಕ್ಷ ಅವರಿಂಗಾಯಿತು ಸಿಂಬಳದ ನೊಣ ನೀನು ಮಂಕುತಿಮ್ಮ. So ನಂಬಿದನು ಪ್ರಹ್ಲಾದ ನಂಬದಿರ್ದನು ತಂದೆ. His father did not believe in, one is a believer of Bhagavan, another non-believer but strongly opposing and strongly believed in the greatness of Bhagavan. But both got moksha. ಕಂಬದಿನು ಬಿಂಬದಿನು ಮೋಕ್ಷ ಅವರಿಂಗಾಯಿತು. But in your case, he talks about us, common persons in the spiritual path. D.V. Gundappa says, Nambiyum nambadir vibbandi neenu. That means you believe, don't believe, you don't know what you are doing. So you are like an ant in a sticky thing, right? which cannot fly, which cannot stay, then it will die there wherever it is. So that is the condition situation we are in. So finally, as per him, we should decide either this way or that way. If you want to oppose Bhagavan, oppose thoroughly so that you get to see him. Or if you want to follow his, you should be doing it right so that you get an opportunity to get moksha sadhana something. So here also, Paundraka Vasudeva, they say he achieved liberation after certain years because Bhagavan is a Karunamai. Even a small things we do for him, seva for him, it will be accepted. He won't ignore small things. That is the story of the Paundraka Vasudeva. Then Kashiraja's son is there. He felt very angry because Krishna killed his father. So that his name is Sudakshana. The story also continues like this. Sudakshana wanting to take the revenge his father's death on his father's death, he wanted to fight Krishna. See, this is the very strange mindset of the people. If I know my father is not doing right things, one should have common sense to follow the right path. But this guy continues to follow. Best example is Prahlada, right? Prahlada knew what Hiranyakashipu is doing is not good, so he followed the better path and he wanted to take others with him. But here, Sudakshana is the son of Kashiraja who supported Paundraka Vasudeva in fighting against Krishna. Now, this foolish person, Sudakshana, he decides to fight against egoistic nature, right? He wants to fight against Krishna. So he takes a divide and rule path. He goes to Shiva because Shiva is the simple guy. Whoever comes to him, surrenders to him, Krishna, even Shiva, Ganesha, their thing is to completely help the people. If they do some penance and do things, they say, okay, what you want, kind of. So this guy also does the same thing. Maybe this is in the grand plan of Bhagavan, bringing the people back to the even to fight with him, they have to do good things, penance, rituals, all those things. Even what Ravana did the same thing, except one mistake of stealing Sita Mata from Bhagavan, right? Other than that, he was doing, of course, he did a lot of other bad things also, but he was more egoistic. Then let us not go to Ramayana at this point. So coming back to Sudakshana's situation, he comes to Lord Shiva and he made a lot of puja, performed benedictions and lot of yajna and all those things, whatever supposed to be doing. And then Shiva appears suddenly, because that is the time frame where anybody does something good, the divine souls used to come and appear, Dwapar Yuga time. So he appears and says, what do you want? He says, I want energy to fight against my father's killer. Does Shiva not know? Shiva knows what they are asking. Shiva also have a strong belief in what Bhagavan is going to take shape. So this guy follows the rule. You have requested me, now I will bless you. So Sudakshana Bhagavan Shiva says, okay, go ahead, worship the Dakshinagni. Then Dakshinagni is interesting that the Agnis, in the Vedic time, Vedic literatures and other things, there are several ways they talk about Agnis. All the Panchabhutas also they call it Agni. Aap, Tejas, Vayu, Nabha, that is Akasha. All those things they call it as Agnis. And Agni Mukhena sacrifice they do. That means through Agnis they sacrifice do. If you don't have the actual Agni, do the sacrifice in Prithvi or do the sacrifice in water. Like that, they say these are the Pancha Bhutas, where the Bhagavan accepts, but not only Bhagavan, even Devatas accept the offerings by the Bhaktas. So that is one way of classifying. Then Bhutagni, Kamagni, Badagni, right? The Badagni, the fire of criticism, Premagni, and Dhanagni. These are other way of separating the Agnis. So this is a beautiful culture. It's very detailed, very structurally studied things. So there are so many ways they say talk about Agnis. Uh, and here the Dakshina's Agni is the classification where they say Agnihotris, right? They may have to do 5 kind of Agnis. Dakshina Agni is one of them. Gaharapatya Agni is the first one. Gaharapatya means the householders who light the first Agni for the lamp. This is the holy Agni. Well, to light the lamps in front of Bhagwan, to light the Agnihotra lights and all those things, they call it as Gaharapatya Agni. It is also called Agni of the Lord of house, right? That kind of thing. Then Ahavaniya Agni is the another thing. Then Sattva and Aushadha Agni and Dakshina Agni, right? Like this, they have classified several Agnis, and now Sudakshina is asked to perform Dakshinagni Yagna on the south side and do facing south kind of thing. So this is mainly, this Agni is for the Pitrugana and others, where Bhutas and everything is there. They say the magic, the black magic can be attained. This is another way of getting Siddhi, faster Siddhi, but it is not the positive way of getting the energy or the Siddhi, magics. So he asked him to do, that means to do the bad thing. Siddhi is a Siddhi, this way or that way. If you use it for bad things, like it is a knife, right? It can be done for performing the surgery, or if you can use it for killing the people. Same thing is Agni here. You can use it to make the food, or you can use it to burn the house. Same, this Agni, he performed Yagna and he got the magic power. He got the fire radiant out of the Agnis, and now he want to use it on Krishna. But Krishna, he had not left the Kashi at that place. He decided to finish this guy also. Then lot of this terrifying demons appeared because of the Dakshinagni worship and protection. Then people it was difficult for the people to get protection. So Krishna decided to use his Sudarshana Chakra once again, and in front of Sudarshana Chakra everything is meager, like it's equal to the grass, right? So he came and destroyed the Sudarshana Chakra, destroyed, and he protected the people. That is the discussion about Paundraka Vasudeva story. Of course, there is one more Vasudeva comes in the Bhagavata Purana. Of course, in Bhagavad Mahabharata also, his name is Shrigara Vasudeva. Maybe we will see that what is that story in the later part. Now, while these things are happening in the Kashi area, Banaras area, which is east part of Bharat, in Dwarka, Balarama he's on a spree. He went to a mountain, Raivata mountain, to have relaxation. So he was having fun there, and with his own a set of people, and there was a gorilla by name Dvida, right? It may be Duvida, I don't know. It says Dvida. That means maybe it's a confusion mind, is a gorilla mind. So it is also, this gorilla is also relative of Narakasura. Maybe relative or is a friend of Narakasura. Narkasura mindset. This guy also had the same mindset. He has decided to fight. He was thinking of fighting these Yadavas. So now he found Yadava is there in that mountain, and he happens to be in the same mountain. And Balarama seems to be known for intoxication, because it's the second time in Bhagavad Puran they say he had Surapana he has done. Then he was spending time with his women in the mountain, Raivata mountain. Then this gorilla shows up there, and he misbehaves with the woman, and he was acting like strange behaviors, like vulgar behaviors. Balarama did not like it. He threw some stones at him. As soon as he threw a stone at him, it became much more, the gorilla became much more violent. The gorilla started throwing the twigs of the tree, rooting out the tree and throwing at Balarama. And so then Balarama decided, okay, it is the time to kill this bugger. So he decides, he uses his powerful weapon, a plow weapon. I will find out the reason why they call plow weapon a plow as a weapon. Maybe I need to do some findings. How come a plow can be used as a weapon? Plow mainly used for the performing the farming. So that may be the symbol of using farming, using growing something, or using meditation, or using culture, farming of the mind, something like that. Maybe they want to communicate here. So he uses the plow machine, that is a practicing good things kind of thing. He uses that plow weapon, and he destroys that Dvida and kills him. This is a side story again. He killed the Dvida mindset, similar to the Narakasura. While this is happened, and then now at another place, of course, this may have maybe happened in simultaneous, or maybe a time frame that we cannot recognize in the Bhagavata Puran. Krishna's son, one of the Krishna's sons, that is Samba. Samba is the son of Jambuvati and Krishna. He went to Hastinapur with his group of people. He came to know there is a beautiful young lady called Lakshmana. She is a daughter of Duryodhana. She is ready for Swayamvar. These people, that time, the kings, or maybe prince, they found greatness in stealing this woman, maybe going to the Swayamvara and getting those princess. So he did the same thing. He went there to Swayamvara and took that lady, that's her called Lakshmana, kidnapped her. In fact, no, he did not participate. He just kidnapped her. Maybe he thought he can do like his father. And of course, Lakshmana has agreed to marry him. So he brought her with him. So on the way back, Duryodhana came to know that his daughter has been kidnapped by Yadavas. He was so upset. He came up with a lot of Sainya. And though Samba could fight with them, but he could not he could not fight the entire army. So they captured him actually. They took him and his Lakshmana with her. Lakshmana means his daughter. Both they took them to Hastinapur and put them in a home arrest. And they sent a message to Ugrasena saying that, hey, one of your guys came here and he is doing this and we have captured him. Just FYI, because we don't want to fight with Yadavas kind of thing. But we are not accepting the such things from behavior from Yadavas. These are all the kings. Any matter that insults them, they take it to the political level. But we fight between the two countries kind of thing. So they did the same. And here Balarama is there, Krishna is not there. Krishna is went to fight somebody else, like maybe Kashiraja and Paundraka Vasudeva. Here Balarama decides to go First he sends Uddhava. Uddhava is the friend of Balarama and Krishna. He's a wise person. There is a very high respect for Uddhava in Bhagavata Purana. He comes in several places as a messenger from Krishna. Right? We saw that episode. Here again, Uddhava was sent to mitigate the risk and get out of the problem. So Uddhava said, anyway, you are what else our boy has done. They like each other, so I think it is a wise thing that we should build a relationship. But Duryodhana, being Duryodhana, he did not. He says no, it is not the right thing what he did. We should punish him. So that is the reason we kept him. Then Balarama is a little angry man, so he gets angry and he says, okay, let us go fight with them. The Balarama comes with his army very near to Hastinapur, and he is settled in nearby place, camped. He was camping. The army has to move, right? They were camped in a nearby garden, maybe national park, someplace. As soon as the Kauravas came to know Yadavas here, the king representative Balarama is here, the first thing they did is they came and worshipped Balaram, saying that it's great that you are here in our land. We Kauravas respect our neighbors and all. They did offer everything. After receiving their service and all the rituals and respect from them, Balarama, then the Kauravas are asking, what else we do? Then Balarama straight away comes to the point, we are here to request, send back our Krishna's son, Samba, and the woman, the girl he liked, the lady he liked. That is your daughter. Then it comes to the ego of, see, this is the typical situation we see in our friends and relatives. We respect, we love each other, but at some point we start fighting for some things. Of course, this is here, it is not a small thing, but this is a common thing. There is a boundary between the relationship we build and where to go, where not to go. Suddenly now Kaurava gets angry, though they came and worshipped Balaram, and Balaram asked a reasonable thing, what I feel, because both Lakshmana and though it was kidnapped, but it was not illegal or immoral thing at that time. But because of the Kauravas' ego, they said, no, what do you think of yourselves? Do you think Yadavas are God? We respect you as a friend, but not to cross the boundaries. And you have to be you have to be submissive to us. You should allow us to do what we are doing. Take the necessary action, right? But Yadava, since Balarama is always an angry young man, he said, okay, then you will have to fight with me. Again, he used a plow weapon. See, this is these are the stories. Entire 4 to 5 stories, chapters are dedicated to Balarama using the plow weapon. Every time in the stories, again he uses the plow. That is the reason I was thinking, there must be some symbolic meaning of using this weapon. And Balarama, maybe they wanted to show, Vyasa Maharshi wanted to show some importance of Balarama in the story. It is all literary work, if we consider as a literary work, giving importance to the different characters, taking them to the right, making the entire plot look like even. So maybe he's trying to do here. Anyways, coming back to the story, Balarama uses his plow weapon and he puts the hook onto the Hastinapur, starts dragging the Hastinapur. He drags it so near to the Ganga that the Hastinapur may be swallowed into the Ganga. Then Kauravas, without fighting, they don't know what is the choice. They cannot fight because they are being pulled into the Ganga river. So they come back and beg, so stop, stop, stop. We did not know you were so powerful. You were as good as Krishna, kind of thing. So they glorify him and they pray to Balaram. They request, the Kauravas requesting him, forgive us, and we were ignorant about your capacity, something like that. Then Balarama is happy. He says, okay, then do whatever we are requesting you, right? Send your daughter to us as a uh, daughter-in-law. So look at the destiny, right? In future is going to be war between Kauravas and Pandavas, where Krishna is taking the side of Pandavas. His son is married to the enemy's daughter. Still they fight. So this is the beauty of the life. This is what we do on our day-to-day basis. We behave very strangely. Maybe especially I felt so many times when I was a small kid. I was thinking of one of my relatives as the greatest, closest person to my family. We are so, I was thinking him or her as a model for me, a role model for us. That was my childhood mindset. We were thinking they are the great, they are the closest people to us. Slowly, when you come to know the differences, then slowly you form the mindset. Oh, this guy whom I called as uncle or mama or whatever that was, this is just a common story. Don't try to ask me was it happened with me, right? Of course it must have happened with everyone. We think that okay, these guys whom we were thinking in the childhood has a very close families, maybe brothers, maybe very close families, suddenly whatever the reason, now they behaving like enemies. So say they start fighting with each other. That is a very strange nature of this world which cannot be understood. Then Bhagavata is a mirror for that. It says, guys, do not worry about this. There is everything in Bhagavata that talks about, don't have to get surprised by the what life is offering to you. So this is all part of the grand design of the life that Bhagavan is playing, and is also Maya. So that may be the reason these stories give us a beautiful glimpse of insight into our life. The Bhagavata, I feel, should be read with this kind of approach. We really cherish it. So I will stop here at this point, so that we can continue to the next stories, the greatness of Krishna. When Narada Muni visits Krishna's place, Narada is an intuitive mind. I always mention about that. This guy visits Krishna, the presence of Krishna, how Krishna is playing his role as a husband, as a father, as a good subject of the country, and also as a warrior. All those things they are explained in 2 chapters, and day-to-day activities of Krishna. Those are the things, beautiful stories. So we'll see next time. Till then, we'll do the samarpana of this entire discussion to Sri Krishna. Sri Krishna Arpanam.